Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're diving deep into the shadows with two stories that will make you question what's real and what lurks just beyond our sight. These tales come from that strange place where friendship and fear collide, and they remind us that some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. Make sure your lights are on, or maybe turn them off if you're feeling brave. Let's begin. Some time ago, a friend and I got this idea to try ants. It was something we'd always talked about but never had the guts to actually do. We knew we needed more people. I'd heard that with just two, it's less likely for anything to happen. So, we called to other friends. It took a bit of convincing, but eventually, they caved. We set everything up, the room was dark, candles were lit, and we all gathered around the Ouija board, a mix of excitement and genuine fear tingling in the air. We placed our fingers on the planchette and started asking questions. The atmosphere grew heavy, and you could feel the tension mounting. But then, one of our friends, the one who was most skeptical, suddenly broke the silence. "I'm leaving," she announced. "This whole Ouija thing is ridiculous." She stood up and walked out, leaving the three of us sitting there, a little stunned and a lot more spooked. The mood was broken, so we decided to pack it in for the night. A few days went by, and I had almost forgotten about it. Then, I got a frantic call from the friend who had walked out. Her voice was shaking, and she was barely coherent. She told me she was walking home from the library, taking her usual shortcut past an old ruined house near her place. As she passed it, a little girl in a white dress stepped out from the shadows. The girl looked at her and asked, "Will you play with me?" My friend, weirded out and in a hurry, just said she couldn't and that she needed to get home. That's when it happened. The little girl's face crumpled, and she started to cry. But it wasn't tears streaming down her cheeks. It was blood, thick, dark blood. My friend didn't wait to see what would happen next. She just ran. She sprinted all the way home, locked her door, and then called me, completely terrified. Honestly, at first, I thought she was pulling my leg, trying to get me back for the ants. But the panic in her voice felt real. It was too real. Later that night, sitting in my room, I couldn't stop thinking about it. My mind kept replaying her words, and then it drifted back to the ants. I remembered how she'd stormed out, calling it ridiculous, breaking the circle. I tried to dismiss it, telling myself it was just a coincidence, that there couldn't possibly be a connection. I eventually managed to fall asleep, but the unease lingered. The next day, she called me again. She was going to be home alone all day studying and was still freaked out from the night before. She asked if I could come over. I had to study too, so I agreed. I took the bus over to her house, and we set up our books in her room. For a while, everything was normal. We were just two friends, trying to focus on our work. And then we heard it, a soft, scraping sound. It was coming from right behind us. We both froze, then slowly turned around. What we saw will be burned into my memory forever. Sitting on my friend's bed was the little girl she had described, the girl in the white dress. She was just sitting there, calmly scratching her fingernails against the wall, her eyes fixed on us. We didn't scream. We didn't even think. We just bolted. We scrambled out of the room and down the hall. As I reached the front door and threw it open, I realized my friend wasn't with me anymore. For a split second, I thought about going back, but the fear was overwhelming. It was a primal, paralyzing terror that screamed at me to just get out. So I ran. A while later, the police called my house. They told me my friend was dead. They found her on the stairs. The official cause was a severe asthma attack, but they also mentioned the look on her face, a look of pure, absolute terror. I spent the next few months in psychiatric treatment. It took a long time to even begin processing what happened, to separate reality from the nightmares. I was finally starting to feel like myself again, getting my life back on track. But then, the other day, I checked my mailbox. Tucked inside was a small, folded note. The handwriting was childish, like a little kid's. It said, "Your friend died because she wouldn't play with me. I have a new doll." Everyone in town knows the story by now, so I'm trying to convince myself it's just some cruel prank. But a part of me, a deep, cold part, is terrified. I can't help but wonder, is she coming for me next? Our second story tonight explores a similar theme, a seemingly random encounter that spirals into something inescapable. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the things we see in the dark are much more than just tricks of the light. Ted Martin and Sam Miller were the best of friends. They did everything together. On this one particular night, they were just hanging out, sitting on a fence near the post office, talking about nothing important, just enjoying the quiet of the evening. Across the road from them was a large turnip field, shrouded in darkness. As they were talking, they saw movement. Something crawled out of the turnip field and slowly stood up. In the dim light, it looked like a man, but it was hard to be sure. It stood there for a moment, then, just as quickly as it appeared, it vanished back into the field. Ted and Sam exchanged a nervous glance. Before they could say anything, it reappeared. This time, it walked halfway across the road, paused, and then turned around, retreating back into the darkness of the crops. Then, it came out a third time, and this time, it was heading straight for them. That's when the fear really hit. They didn't wait to find out what it was. They jumped off the fence and ran. They ran without looking back until their lungs burned. When they finally stopped, gasping for breath, a sense of foolishness washed over them. What were they even running from? A shadow? A trick of the moonlight? They decided they were being ridiculous and that they had to go back and see what it really was. They walked back toward the post office, their bravado paper thin. They didn't have to look for long. It was coming toward them again, walking steadily down the road. As it got closer, they could make out more details. It was wearing black pants, a white shirt, and dark suspenders. It looked almost normal, but something was deeply wrong. Sam, trying to be the brave one, whispered, "I'm going to try and touch it. That way we'll know if it's real." He cautiously approached the figure and got close enough to see its face. Its eyes were bright, glowing with a malicious intelligence, and they were sunk deep into its head. Its face, it looked like a skeleton. The skin was tight over the bone, the features gaunt and deathly. Ted got one look at its face and let out a blood-curdling scream. That was it. They ran again, but this time, the skeletal thing followed them. They could hear its footsteps behind them, matching their pace. They sprinted to Ted's house, fumbled with the door, and tumbled inside, slamming it shut behind them. Peeking through the window, they saw it standing in the path in front of the house. It lingered there for a moment, a silent, menacing sentinel, and then it simply vanished into thin air. Life went on, but the memory of that night never faded. A year later, Ted got sick. It started small, but he grew weaker and weaker. Sam was a good friend. He stayed with Ted every night during his final days. On the night Ted passed away, Sam later told people that in those last moments, Ted's face had changed. He said it looked exactly like the skeleton they had seen a year before. The same sunken eyes, the same gaunt, skull-like features. It was as if that thing from the turnip field had finally claimed him. Two stories of friendship, choices, and the horrifying consequences that follow. It makes you wonder about the thin veil between our world and whatever lies beyond it. What do you think? Was the little girl a vengeful spirit, or was it all a tragic, horrifying coincidence? And what about the skeletal figure? A harbinger of death, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If these stories send a chill down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more dives into the darkness. Sharing the video helps the channel grow and allows me to bring you more content like this. Stay safe out there, and always be careful what games you play, and who you play them with. Thanks for watching.